Thank you to the organizers of the Green Literature Festival and to the jury of judges for this award. I'm really pleased to receive it, and I'm sad that I can't be there in person with you. I'd like to take this opportunity to leave you with three messages. They are linked to the three factors that I lay down in climate capitalism that I think are necessary for success in fighting climate change: people, policy, and technology. Let me start with technology, because perhaps it's the easiest. The vast majority of the emissions problem can be tackled with two steps: electrify as much of the economy as possible and decarbonize electricity. And most of the technologies that India needs to get itself on track to take these two steps now exist, which is more than the solar story I was able to capture in the book through the work that Renew Power has done. Second is policy. And when we talk about policy in India, the first thing that comes to mind is that India has to tackle so many basic issues like corruption, lack of professionalism, vote bank politics, and so on, before it can turn its policy into effective outcomes. And yet, India has shown that when it's strategic, geopolitically, economically, or for some other reason, that it can make policy work. That happened in the case of solar through SECI, the Solar Energy Corporation of India, and most recently, like this week, India is attempting to do something similar with its rare earth magnets manufacturing program. For a resource poor country like ours, good policy can make a huge difference despite its many governance challenges. Third, and this is the most important one: people. I grew up in Nasik in Maharashtra, but have spent my early life since the age of 21 in the UK, the country that is seen even today as a global climate leader. That's not the case just because it's a rich country. Look at the US, Canada, or Australia. They're not classed as climate leaders, but it happened because there was enough political will among citizens, academics, and politicians to have a progressive outlook on climate change. But it is also now the country that is seeing a fracturing of the climate consensus, with people feeling the pinch of recent years of inflation. Opportunistic politicians are trying to blame it on climate policies without good reason. We'll see if they succeed. But the lesson is starting to be clear that if a rich country's citizens whose basic needs have been met can't be convinced to care about climate change, then something that is clearly going to have an impact on their life and politicians aren't able to convince them, then what hope do we have in India, a poor country where we are far from meeting basic human needs? And that's where I think the answer lies in people. Over the past decade, as I've covered climate issues around the world, I've seen more and more people be engaged with the topic. Thousands, millions. And not just in cursory ways, such as reading a news story and feeling outraged, but in deep ways, such as dedicating their careers to tackle this problem. This Green Literature Festival is a case in point, and I'm so glad that it's been going on since 2021. India has no choice but to tackle climate change. India is among the world's 10 countries ranked by vulnerability to climate change. It's the most populous country in that list, which means that when the impacts occur, we will also see the greatest damage caused to people. So it is down to people like you to ensure that citizens of India can see why it's in their benefit to act on climate change and why they must vote in the politicians who understand the urgency, and why they must choose to do businesses with the firms that are green. Now, this call for people power might feel particularly hard right now, at a time when citizens barely have a voice against visible air pollution. How can we start to tackle invisible carbon dioxide pollution? Well, that's the hard challenge we face today. And it's a worthy challenge, because the solutions needed to deal with carbon dioxide are often also the solutions that will help people breathe cleaner air, eat more nutritious food, build stronger communities, reduce poverty, create an economy fit for the 21st century. The task is clear and the benefits are immense. Thank you.